Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SBL Guru podcast. My name is Marty Windle. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to continue along with our season where we talk about SBL in real life. What we try to do is take an element of the SBL syllabus and show how it applies in real life companies or real life organizations. So today we're going to look at syllabus section E, and we're going to look at that part of the syllabus B, which is big data, data analytics, and the use of AI. So to look at this area of the syllabus, we're going to look at one of the world's most innovative companies, and that company is Uber. It started off as a ride-sharing business, but now it's gone into lots of other areas. Now, the aim of this podcast is to look at how Uber uses data analytics to make smart decisions and to develop their strategy on a global basis. So to get some focus and to try and make it relevant for your exam, we're going to look at 4 key areas of the big data analytics. They are predictive, prescriptive, diagnostic, and descriptive analytics. So let's start off with the descriptive analytics. What does descriptive analytics mean? Descriptive analytics is where you're using the big data and the analytical techniques to look at what is happening now, in real time, and how that can influence decisions made in your organization. Now, what Uber will do, they'll use this data to help understand the patterns in rider behavior, and it allows them to make informed decisions on everything from marketing to operations. Let me give you an example about how this would work. So because Uber's got all this data, it will know in real time where the customers are. So what they can do is they can develop heat maps. Those heat maps say these are areas where you're likely to get a lot of customers. So what if you're a driver, it's really beneficial. You can drive to the areas where you're much more likely to get jobs, where you're much more likely to pick up customers. That's also great for the customer because it means they don't have to wait too long for a ride. So they look at what's happening now and then use that information to communicate to drivers. It's good for the customer, but it's also great for the drivers because the drivers can make more money. Customers have got a short wait time. The second element of big data we're going to look at is the diagnostic analysis. And how does Uber use diagnostic analysis? Diagnostic analysis is when you diagnose something, you're trying to understand why something has happened. So use your big data, use your machine learning and AI algorithms to understand why something has happened. So you look at your data describing past events and you dig deep into that data to understand the reason for those events. So you might look at why was there a sudden spike in a certain city on a particular day? What's the reason for that? Why did driver satisfaction decline in a specific region over the past quarter? The aim of the AI analytics is to understand why these things are happening and try to understand correlations and relationships within the data. So if we look at a situation, you might be in San Francisco. Uber notices that there's been a drop in ride requests from a city like San Francisco. So what they do is they use diagnostic and analytics, and they try to analyze various data points such as rider feedback, competitor activities, weather patterns, or even public transit disruptions to figure out what is the cause. It might reveal, for example, that there's a new competitor in the market that's offering lower prices. It might be a recent change in Uber's pricing model, which is causing people not to use Uber and switch to alternative public transport options. They can then use that data to maybe adjust their pricing at certain times to try and win back those customers. They'll also look at things like driver churn or drivers leaving the platform. If they see a significant number of drivers are leaving the platform in a certain region, diagnostic analysis helps to uncover the reasons why. Maybe it's been a local policy change that's had a negative impact on drivers. Perhaps a new incentive structure has led to a dissatisfaction from drivers. It's all about using the data to uncover the reasons why something has happened and then use that to take action to correct it. So in this case, they might introduce new customer or new driver support initiatives to try to overcome that level of dissatisfaction. So let's look at the third element now. I said there's going to be 4 elements. Number 3 is predictive analytics. So with predictive analytics, we try to forecast what will happen in the future based on historical data and trends. It's one of the most powerful tools that Uber has in their data arsenal. It will allow Uber to anticipate demand, optimize operations, or even mitigate potential issues before they arise. So the underlying technique you're using here is you are looking at historical data and you're going to make forecasts about future trends. So look historically, analyze that data, predict the future. Many of us worry about how long it's going to take for our Uber driver to arrive. So what we look at here is Uber using the predictive analytics for demand forecasting. So what do? They look at historical data on past rides, but also real-time factors such as weather conditions, local events, traffic patterns to predict where and when demands are likely to spike. For instance, if Uber knows there's a big concert happening in a certain part of town, they can predict an increase in ride requests around the venue and ensure that they have enough drivers in that area. So they're anticipating how many people are going to call for an Uber based on historical sales patterns and historical trends. If we look at a particular day of the year, the predictive capability may be crucial during holiday periods or special events. If we take New Year's Eve, a lot of people are going to be out on the town. They're going to be in the center of the city celebrating. It's often one of the busiest nights of the year for Uber. Uber's going to look at predicting where those customers are going to be. It can then adjust its pricing so that drivers are going to get incentivized to go to those areas and pick up customers. They will price accordingly to meet the expected demand. So drivers are going to win because they're going to experience shorter wait times, and also they're incentivized to work in the high demand periods. So Uber's also pretty good at predicting when your Uber car is going to arrive. They talk about this thing called estimated time of arrival accuracy. They do that by analyzing past traffic patterns, driver speeds, and route preferences, and they can predict how long the trip will take, and more accurately than ever before. It's going to improve the rider experience, but also enhances driver efficiency. The fourth one is going to be prescriptive analysis. Prescriptive analysis, like when you go for a prescription at the doctor's. And this is where we're going to use the data, we're going to use our machine learning and AI and suggest recommended actions to achieve desired outcomes. So for the prescriptive, this is when the AI algorithm will tell you what to do. Now that could be where to deploy drivers, how to adjust your pricing, or even how to allocate resources in different markets. Now I'm sure you're very familiar with this thing called surge pricing. It's where Uber put the prices up at certain times of the day or certain times of the night. So what the AI algorithm is saying is adjusting fare data in real time based on supply and demand. So the pricing is going to be impacted by real-time supply demand, and it will recommend what surge pricing they should use at what time and in what location. If, for example, a storm is forecast in the city, a lot of drivers don't want to work. So what they would do here is the system would recommend that you increase prices to get drivers out on the road before the storm comes, so that there's enough people there to meet demand when the storm arrives. So they're recommending what to do. They're telling you what to do to get the best overall optimum result. They also use prescriptive analytics for their driver incentive programs. They use it to determine the best type of incentives to offer drivers based on their location, ride patterns, and their personal preference. By analyzing historical data on driver behavior and predicting future trends, they can recommend personalized bonuses or promotions that will encourage that driver to work at peak times or to complete more trips. So they understand how the driver thinks, how they work, and they can give a bonus which will work for that particular driver. So the software tells Uber what to do. So there you have it. They're the 4 types of big data, machine learning applications. In your exam, you may be asked to give examples about this. It could be for a Uber type business. It can work for any organization. The most important thing in your SBL exam is to make sure you always give relevant examples based on the scenario that you've been given and always apply to the case. That's the most important thing to pass SBL. My name is Marty Windle. If you want to find out more about SBL, find out about my paid courses, please visit www.sblguru.com, and there you can find out all the information about my paid courses. We have courses for tuition, for revision, and we've got those special courses right at the end where we do 2 mock exams based on the pre-scene. So just go to www.sblguru.com to find out more about those courses. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me with the social media algorithm to reach as many students as possible. My name is Marty Windle. Good luck in your exam.